All right, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. I'm Colt Knost. This is Drew Stoltz as well. We're host of Golf Subpar. And this live episode of Subpar is brought to you by On Location, the official travel package provider of the PGA of America and the Ryder Cup. Coming to you live from Manhattan at their 2025 Ryder Cup post-play event at 5 Iron Golf.
That's right. We're hanging with fans, celebrating one of the biggest weeks in golf, and getting everyone hyped for what's still to come. Because after Bethpage, the Ryder Cup heads to Adair Manor in Ireland in 2027, where we'll probably get our ass kicked again. And trust us, you're going to want to be there.
The best way to lock in your spot, place a fully refundable priority access deposit today at onlocationexp.com/subpar. That deposit gives you exclusive early pre-sale access before packages go on sale to the public, which means you'll have first pick of the most sought-after accommodations, hospitality, and experiences for this once-in-a-lifetime Ryder Cup.
This is your chance to get closer than ever to the Ryder Cup with On Location's world-class experience at a venue as iconic as Adair Manor.
So don't wait. Secure your front-of-the-line access now with a deposit that's 100% refundable. Head to onlocationexp.com/subpar for full details. That's onlocationexp.com/subpar.
Subpar is not directly affiliated with the PGA of America or the Ryder Cup. All packages are provided by On Location, the official travel package provider of the PGA of America and the Ryder Cup. Full details and policies available at onlocationexp.com. Here we go.
All right, Colin, Montgomerie, Tom Lehman. Also, the United States team is also not affiliated with the Ryder Cup at this moment.
We're taking applications. Anyone under a 10 handicap, if you want to play at Adair Manor, submit here.
Colin, Tom, though, it's a pleasure to have you all here. Mr. Montgomerie, I know you're in a rather good mood right now. You can't stop smiling as your squad is up 11.5 to 4.5.
Well, I have absolutely nothing to do with this, but at the same time, it's something very special. This is a record that we hold on Saturday evening. Now, who knows? I mean, you know, if America come out and win the first 4 matches tomorrow, it's game on again. If not, it could finish quite early, which is incredible to think that we've been trying to win away since 2012, and Rory's been saying for a number of years how difficult it is, and his one last objective in the game of golf is to win away from home, and it seems to have come to fruition this week. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tom, you know, we were speaking here before we came on, and it's like, yeah, maybe the U.S. hasn't had their best stuff today, but at some point you got to just tip your cap and say this may be the best performance we've ever seen in a Ryder Cup, especially on foreign soil that we're seeing right now from Europe.
Well, the European team has been no missteps. I mean, not one misstep that I can see the whole entire week so far. Just great ball striking, just really aggressive to the pins. I mean, just taking dead aim at every pin, knocking it close, making putts, and when the U.S. actually gets a little bit of momentum, they do something to just squash it. And that's what I've noticed, that they just simply never allow the U.S. team to get any momentum built at all. And the result is what you see. But I do think that from top to bottom, they probably have a little deeper team, and they're playing their best. The U.S. team is awfully good. They're not at their best, and this is what you get.
And Monty, obviously, you played 8 Ryder Cups. You've played here, you've played at home. And let's be honest, you were one of the favorite targets of the American crowd, as was Rory McIlroy today. Just talk about what it's like to
They love Monty. Come on, are you kidding me?
Still love him.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, it's obviously extremely difficult to play over here. But what's it like? I thought it was very impressive how Rory and Shane Lowry performed, considering everything they had to deal with. And you know exactly how it is out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's one particular shot at 16 there this afternoon that Rory had to say something to the crowd. I won't mention it here, but it was rude. And back to the crowd, got back to the shot and hit it stiff from 160-odd yards. That was impressive, I must admit, because normally after you've spoken to the crowd, which we're told not to do, because it, you know, you just don't answer back, because it's not personal. What happens from the crowd, it's not personal. You just have to put it to one side because your teammates are trying as well, so you can't let them down by losing it as such. But what he did there was fantastic at 16 to hit it stiff after the barracking that he had on the fairway there, or just in the semi-rough. But he's done very well. He's really primed for this event. As we said, he's our leader on the course now. He and John Rahm, really. And he's done particularly well, and he's played well.
Tommy Fleetwood's done okay too.
Yeah, our top 3 players have done particularly well.
Yeah.
And Rahm, Fleetwood, and McIlroy. We need that. And I was saying to Tom earlier on, the top 3 Americans haven't done as well. DeChambeau, Scheffler, and...
Then who?
And I don't know who else.
That's their 2 guys.
Neither do we.
That's the two. Now
Cam
that's-
Young's been a
that
bright
says,
spot.
That says a lot, doesn't it? You
So
know?
when you think
We're trying to say the top 3 Americans haven't done so well, and we've only got to 2.
I mean, Patrick Cantlay's the other one that played every match so far.
Patrick Cantlay's done very well, actually, because he came in here under pressure. He hasn't really been performing this year on tour the same as Patrick Cantlay can. He's done well. Cam Young was left out from the first Friday foursomes, but he's done very well as well.
So when you think about a stopgap, hey, the floodgates are open. We need somebody to stop the bleeding. When you go on the European side, well, we got McIlroy, okay, and we got Fleetwood, we got Justin Rose, and we got John Rahm, and we got Tyrrell Hatton, and that you can go down the list quite a ways to find a guy who I would put in there to stop the bleeding if there was that kind of situation. With the U.S. team, I don't think there's quite that much confidence. I mean, I'm not sure you can go quite that deep. You know, and I think so. I just think that the European team is at their best. The U.S. team is not at their best, and the result at this level of play is just kind of unavoidable.
Well, it's just 1 or 2 shots, isn't it? I mean, it's not like it's just 1 or 2 shots. It's not 6 or 7 around. It's the 1 or 2 shots that have had to go in. The putts that had to go in by the Europeans have gone in. And as Tom was so rightly saying there, the momentum hasn't been allowed.
No.
If America have won a hole, damn, they're not going to win the next one.
No.
And get that momentum. And then other players of other matches see the scoreboard, they see it going red, and they go, hang on, okay, right, come on, lads, we'll fight. But it hasn't that momentum hasn't materialized in other games, feeding down from the first game down to games 2, 3, and 4.
How much of this do you think is Luke Donald, who, by the way, if they end up winning tomorrow, is going to go down as one of the greatest Ryder Cup performers, player and captain ever? How much of this do you think is Luke Donald, the pairings he's putting out, the preparation they put in, and how much is it just out of his hands and his players just happen to be at the top of their game right now and the U.S. is not?
Well, I think we've been very wise in keeping our captain from Rome. We haven't had to start again with a new captain and sort of bleed him into the role. So that was a very wise move to keep the captain that won it in Rome. And also the consistency's there with the team. 11 of that team that won in Rome are playing here. We just got a twin brother that's been...
Yeah, and he's not even playing.
And he's not even playing. So the consistency and the continuity is there on the European side. So we're fortunate there. Every Ryder Cup that Luke Donald has been involved with, I think he played 3, he's captained 1, and he's about to win again, say. I mean, that's 5 out of 5. I mean, that is really up there with anybody.
I think he's 70% win percentage as a player, too.
player.
Like one of the top, if not the top, right, winning percentage, points-wise?
Yeah, with a certain amount of
He'll
matches.
go down as maybe 1A guy in European Ryder Cup history after this.
But for both of you, I think, especially over here in the United States, like the media is going to make a lot out of Scottie Scheffler's performance this week. He's 0-4. He's the best player in the world, and it's not even up for debate. But to go out there and go 0-4, like I ran some numbers. He's played 66 holes this week. His opponents are 32 under par in 2 days. Like, he's not playing bad. He's running into buzzsaws every day. His 2, we call it alternate shot. You call it foursomes, which is by far the most difficult format. He's played 2 matches. The opponents have been 7 under and 6 under through 16 holes. I mean, there's not much you can do when people play like that.
So repeat that stat.
66 holes. His opponents are 32 under par.
You can't beat that.
No.
You can't beat that.
No, I mean, his opponents are birding every second hole.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and we're talking foursomes golf as well.
Yeah. Right.
Which I can understand that in 4-ball, but not in foursomes. That's incredible, isn't it? The standard of golf that we've been played. And we're not playing a pitch and putt course here. We're playing Bethpage Black, right? We're not, okay, it's not
set up
Bethpage.
a little easy.
Yes, it's set up, not like the US Opens, but still, it's got to be done. You've got to hole out. You've got to hold the
absolutely.
putts. Yeah.
So today, I think, on the 10th hole today, I think it was, Sam Burns didn't hit a very good approach. He had about a 45-footer, and he made it across the green for a 3 on 10. And then Fitzpatrick, from 35 feet, right on top of him, boom. Yeah. So I mean, that's the story of the Ryder Cup this week.
Absolutely.
Is that the European team has never let the U.S. team get loose.
Yeah.
And the crowd, therefore, has never really gotten loose behind them. It's been quiet. I mean, and they've never had a chance to really get on a roll, ever. Yeah. And it's not because it's all bad play. No. You cannot beat 32 under 66 holes.
You brought up that example. I'll go back to yesterday. Ben Griffin makes a 60-footer on the 7th hole. Justin Rose steps up in front of him from 40 feet, buries it. You go to 16, a match that involved John Rahm and Scotty Scheffler, which was very tight coming down the stretch. Scotty Scheffler makes a 30-footer. John Rahm right behind him, 25-footer. Like every single time, like y'all said, the Europeans have had an answer this week.
Yeah, I think you've just got to say that whatever Luke Donald's done, whatever the European team have done, they have played, and here's me taking America here in Manhattan, but the European team have played better than the American team.
Yeah.
And you have to say, well, hats off to them. Mm-hmm. You know, they've played better, and that's what it is.
Hats off for sure. Hats off for sure.
Eventually, you've got to say, well played. Yeah.
Yeah, and if they go out tomorrow and do what I think we expect them to do, this may go down as the most brilliant Ryder Cup performance by a single team in history.
Possibly. I don't know. I don't know.
There's some good ones, but they could
be good ones.
The performance in Ireland was, talk about putts going in the hole.
Oh, we had two in a row, 2004 and 2006, that were the same result. One away from home in Detroit at Oakland Hills in 2004, and of course Tom's captaincy in 2006 when, yes, we hold everything. At the K Club.
Even to the point, even to the White Monty, where you hit it in the water on number 11. It landed in the pond, hit a rock in the bottom of the pond, and bounced on the green to about 15 feet, and you made a 3.
I did. I'm very sorry.
Sounds like he's really over it.
Yeah,
I'm really over it.
He's not bitter at all.
The leprechauns aren't afraid of the water, are they?
I haven't slept since, not at all. No.
But Tom, I'll ask you because you're kind of, it wasn't as bad as what it is this year, but y'all were down quite a bit heading into Sundays when you were captain. What's your message to the team? What's Keegan's message to the team going to be tonight?
I think we were 5 down. Okay, they're 7 down to us. That's a taller order. So really, it's all about pride at this point. So if I were in that team room talking to those guys, and it was my message, I would simply remind them of who they are. It's like this is who you are. You guys are number 1 in the world rankings. You guys are major champions. You guys are guys who are coming out on tour, and you're rookies, and you're winning tournaments, and you're 3-time All-Americans in college. You are Ryder Cup team members. You are whatever they are. I would remind them of just exactly who they are, because it's easy to forget in this kind of moment when you're so defeated of who you are. And I would remind them of who they are. So go out tomorrow, and I don't care how far behind you are, kick the shit out of somebody.
Let's go.
It's somebody in the mouth.
Do something.
It's somebody in the mouth. Did we get that on tape? Maybe we fire that over to the boys. Honestly, at this point in the deal, I feel like the thing I'm most sad about, honestly, is not the fact that we ran up against the buzzsaw in Europe, but Keegan Bradley's captaincy and what he's gone through, and the fact that he had a chance to be a player, passed it up, that he's been waiting on this opportunity. He was passed over in Rome. He lives and breathes this event. Like, he wanted it more than anybody. No one will ever question his passion, and now here he goes out there, ball's out of his hands, and all of a sudden it goes this way. I think that's the toughest pill to swallow on the American side.
Yes, it's been difficult, but I'd go back to Tom. As an ex-captain, what would you say to the team? I'd say to them, the American team, right, pride is number 1 at this stage. Go out and win the singles. Mm-hmm. Go and win the singles and give ourselves something to go with for the next President's Cup, for the next Ryder Cup. Go and win the singles. Don't allow Europe to win 5 sessions in a row, which has never, ever been done.
Yeah. We'll always have the President's Cup.
Right.
We got
364
we
more
gotta
days.
play that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Monty, I want to go back to your captaincy, which was at Celtic Manor, and it was a tight one. 14.5, 13.5. Came down to the last match. Graham McDowell, Hunter Mahan. Yes. For you, having no control, you don't have a club in your hand, and you've won a gazillion tournaments, contended at all the majors. Where does those nerves rank in your career?
Oh, that was as good as it gets. Yeah. That was as good as it gets. I had a reasonable Ryder Cup career playing, and I didn't want to sort of go out.
23.5 points, by the way.
Stop. Okay. Time out.
Yeah. Okay, well.
Time out. Okay,
right.
Could you please rephrase that?
Okay. Well, I can't. A reasonable Ryder Cup record. Right, fine. And you put yourself on the line. You do. And you lose control. When you send, and Tom will feel the same, when you send your team out, whoever it might be in the foursomes or the four ball or the singles, you've sort of lost that control, haven't you, of those. And you just pray that they bring back something, or else it's a complete waste of 4.5 hours. You know, you want to bring back a point or half a point or whatever. And I'll never forget the first match I sent out, Lee Westwood with Martin Keimer, who just won at Whistling Straits, the 2010 PGA. And I'd lost control immediately. 10 yards off the tee, I'd lost control. Now, I'm not saying I'm a control freak, but I would much rather be doing it myself.
Yeah.
Even not as good as them. I'd much rather do it because then you've got some sort of control, you know, partly control. But it was a horrible feeling relying on someone else. Yes, they were better than I was, but you've still got to rely on them. And Graham did a great job. You know, he was US Open champion at the time at Pebble Beach. Mm-hmm. He was the Wales Open champion on that golf course. So that's why he was put number 12. He was disappointed when I told him I'd like you to go 12. He said, no. We'll be winning around number 6 or 7. Can you put me there? And I go, no, hang on. If things go horribly awry here, which they did, America came back at us, as they do in the singles. Graham was there as the backup just in case, and it just worked out. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. He wanted to go earlier.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. He wanted to be the one to win it at number 6. He actually ended up the one to win it at number 12.
Yeah.
All right, this one's for both of you, Tom. I'll start with you because you guys have so much experience playing, being captains in Ryder Cup. If I just say the words Ryder Cup, first memory that comes to mind, could be as a player or a captain. What is it?
So one of my favorite, Monty, I'm sorry. One of my favorite memories is my very first Ryder Cup. In the very first match, Corey Pavin and I played Nick Faldo and Colin Montgomerie. And we went to 18. Okay, and your partner put you in the crap off the tee.
He did. Nice fella he is.
Yeah. And you pitched it back into the fairway. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of pitched it into the back right bunker.
He did.
And he hit a nice bunker shot to about 4.5 feet, right? Meanwhile, Corey was on the tee, that's alternate shot, and he hit his tee shot for him. You know, Corey's not long, and it was raining sideways, and he kind of squeezed one down the right side in the first cut of rough, and I hit a 5-iron on the front of the green, and we ended up making a par and beating you guys. So
you did.
So when I think about Ryder Cup moments, because for me, you always wonder, like, am I capable of dealing with the Ryder Cup pressure? And there was no greater pressure than, at least to me, than being in my very first match against the best team from Europe, and having to hit a 5-iron in the rain to approach the green under pressure, and then I wanted Corey to move his ball because there was water puddling on the green. Hey, move the ball up to the left to the high ground so you have to putt through the puddle. And he didn't want to because he didn't want to have to. He was too nervous to actually hit a big breaking putt. So he hit it straight up the hill through the puddle and up to 5 feet short. Okay, and I had to clean up his mess.
Attaboy. But you did it.
And I made it.
Yeah. You did.
So the only reason why I bring that up is that I think, and Monty would agree, is that there is no greater pressure than the Ryder Cup because you're not only playing for yourself, but for your teammates, for your country, and to kind of come through when you have to come through. It proves to yourself, hey, I'm tough enough to deal with this, and that's what that match did for me.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What would be your favorite, Monty?
Memories?
Or your first?
Well,
Sorry, your first.
Well, my first experience of the Ryder Cup wasn't playing. I went down. We lived in Yorkshire, which is about 200 miles north of Walton Heath, 1981, and I went down with my brother to watch the Ryder Cup in 1981. I was 17, and I was watching the best American team that's ever been assembled. I think Bruce Litsky was the only one that wasn't a major champion at the time. It was before the world ranking started in 84. So, but I'm sure that 12 would have been in the top 20, all of them, in the world rankings at that time. It was incredible. Nicklaus and Watson, and we can go on and on. And it was an experience for me to think that, looking back on it, to think I ever got to the stage 10 years later of actually playing at Kiwa Island, 10 years later in 1991, myself. I could never have imagined playing in that Ryder Cup, having seen the standard of play and the icons of the game really. All the Hall of Famers that were there playing in that Ryder Cup. I couldn't believe that I could be part of this history that has become the Ryder Cup. So that was my first memory of it. Yeah.
Well, you were a massive part of it, playing 8 times, captain as once. And I think, a lot gets lost with what happened out there today, how the gallery can be disrespectful. But at the end of the day, like, all 24 players respect each other a lot. And one of my first memories of the Ryder Cup was 1999 at Brookline, where y'all made the amazing comeback. But what Payne Stewart did with you on the 18th hole, which is about as classy as it gets.
Oh, very much so. We had a hell of a battle. Payne Stewart and I was 3 up early on, and he got it all back. We're all square playing 17. It was a real great game, and I really respected his patriotism. And it was such a shame that 2 months later he's not with us. It was a terrible tragedy, and someone that we do think about when the Ryder Cup comes. I do. The last person to play him in the singles, it was just a tragedy, but it was a fabulous game. And what happened at the last hole, picking up my marker, in theory conceding the game, conceding the match after we'd battled so hard for 4 hours between us, playing chess together to try and get to that winning position. And he was a gentleman.
That's awesome.
A patriot, which I love, because I'm a very proud Scot, a very proud Brit, and I love this patriotism of America. I love the way that your flags fly. I love the way that your anthem is played, much more than we are at home. And I just wish we were as patriotic as you Americans are. I think it's awesome. Great.
Can I add to that story?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Saturday night, which is always a big night, I'm sure, for both teams, Payne was walking around our team room, and we tend to have a lot of open dialogue that night, people talking very freely about their, whatever's on their mind, and it can be quite emotional. And he was wearing this red, white, and blue Stars and Stripes Uncle Sam top hat. Okay, you can imagine Payne. He's got sweats on, he's got this top hat. And I said, you ought to stick that hat in your bag, because tomorrow there's no doubt in my mind that we're not going to come back and win this thing. I mean, we're absolutely going to win. And you can wear that thing down the 18th fairway, and the people will love it. He goes, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. So he stuck it in his bag. Well, the match is over. I mean, the Ryder Cup is over, right? And we're going down 18, and it's a madhouse. People are running past you. It says people sprinting past you guys, and you have to fight your way to the 18th green. And Payne gets up there, and he concedes the match. That's who he is. Never put on the hat. Never put on the hat. And I remember asking him later, like that night, later on, like, you had the hat in your bag. You said you were going to put it on. Why didn't you? And what do you suppose the answer was?
It wouldn't have been right. Been disrespectful.
I couldn't do it to Monty.
Yeah.
I could not do that to Monty. I respect him too much. I respect the game too much. I didn't want to disrespect Colin Montgomerie.
Did you know that, Monty? Did you know that story?
No, I did not know that.
I didn't know that story either.
That's the first time I've heard that, and that was 1999. We're talking, 26 years ago, and amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Wow.
Cool. But that's the person that Payne Stewart was. Yeah,
Amen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Amen to that. One of one for sure. Staying on Brookline for a moment. Do you got the shirt? You got the shirt.
You know what? I got the shirt.
Where is it?
My son-in-law looked for it because he wanted to wear it this week. Couldn't find it. So I maybe that's the reason why we're struggling. I don't know. That shirt was a special shirt.
That's a special one. Do not lose that.
I want to know what got passed over that they chose. Yeah, we're going to wear that one.
Go with this one.
That must have been some ugly stuff that got passed over.
The idea was good. Every winning team was on that shirt.
Hey, we should run out in those tomorrow, maybe. Yeah. Channel a little of that magic. We're going to need 2 of them.
Yeah. Speaking of stories, I don't think a lot of people know, and I just learned this a few months ago because we actually interviewed Hughes Norton, for those that don't know, legendary sports agent, and shared a great story about you, actually, who, when you were kind of getting ready to figure out what you were going to do in your life, we're talking about becoming a sports agent.
Yeah.
And you showed up at an outing.
I did.
And I think you showed up a little late, showed up at the back 9, didn't even have your clubs.
No, yeah.
Went out and shot 29, and they said, why are you wanting to represent people? We need to be representing you.
Exactly, that was it. The 2 hours, it was at Turnberry. It was at Turnberry Golf Club, now Trump Turnberry. And it was the day after the 1986 Open that Greg Norman had won at Turnberry. And the pins are in the same location as the word. You play after the Monday afterwards. And I joined them on the back 9. I was asked to join them at the Lighthouse at the 10th at Turnberry. And I played in with them, and it was a job interview.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an agent. I wanted to manage the likes of, well, the big three were still playing. Nicholas Palmer player. There was Floyd. There was Nick Price. There was the Normans of this world. Faldo, Langer, Seve. It was great. All IMG clients, and I thought this was great. So yes, as you so rightly say, I hold a couple of shots. I chipped in. I putted. Anyway, cut long story short. Yes, I came back in 29, and they said, well, you're not going to work for us. We're going to work for you. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And it changed. That's why I'm sitting here today.
Imagine if you shot 38.
Well, I mean, God.
Yeah, you would have been a hell of an
representing our
agent.
podcast.
We'd have a lot more Ryder Cups maybe to our name.
I don't want to imagine. I don't want to imagine.
Go get my car. It's just waiting outside.
Yes, sir.
20%. Are you out of your mind? The Payne Stewart conversation reminded me of this question I wanted to ask you guys, because you've been, like I said, players, captains in a lot of locker rooms. One locker room guy, best locker room guy that stands out that you were either on a team with or were captain for.
Well, I'm going back to Payne Stewart again.
Yeah.
He was the guy. He was the guy. He controlled the music. So he showed up with the playlist, right? And he had the boom box, and his playlist was a great playlist. And he was not afraid to share what was on his heart. So that night, at Brookline, we typically kind of go around and we just talk about what means so much to us about the week. And whether you're winning or losing, it's like this week has been an amazing week. What about this week is so significant to me? And so he talked about his dad and how his dad had passed away, his dad wasn't there, and how much he wished his dad could have been there to be a part of that week. And he was, in between sobs, talking about his father. And that was kind of so you talk about locker room guys, it's like he was unafraid to laugh. He was unafraid to cry. He was, and you need somebody like that. You know that. You need somebody like that in the locker room who is on the course playing, competing. You need that kind of passion and authenticity, I think, to bring teams together. And Payne was, without question, that way.
Interesting. If you go back to the locker room, I suppose there's only one guy that I could say was Seve Ballesteros. Yeah. And he was our leader. He was the most passionate man that and it's a terrible somber. We're talking about two guys that aren't with us right now. Seve and Payne Stewart both taken far too early. But Seve was our passionate leader. He had the energy. We were playing for him. Mm-hmm. Everybody was. Faldo was. Lyle was. Langer was. Woozy was. We all were playing for one guy, for Seve. It was his Ryder Cup, and we wanted to win for him. And especially in '97 when he captained us, all I can say was a bit of a nuisance, to be honest. When he captained us, he was everywhere. He was everywhere. There was tunnels underneath Valderrama, and he used to use the maintenance tunnels under Valderrama Golf Club to appear from nowhere. Oh, God, he's here again. Oh, my God, And, of course, he was only 41, Seve, so he wanted to, as captain, he wanted to play the shots for us all. And he was better than us all around the greens anyway. So he said, well, by all means, Seve, you take my club, but unfortunately you can't, to chip and putt for us. But he was the reason, from 1977 onwards, when Europe joined the Ryder Cup story, Seve was the reason, and he's to this day. I was in the team room yesterday down at the club there at Bethpage. Pictures of Seve everywhere. And I'm sure you'll find, and I hope so, you'll find that in 25 years' time, there's still pictures of Seve in that team room of ours, and what passion that he brought to the Ryder Cup, and what he meant to us as Europeans. Yeah.
Yeah, those are two good answers.
Yeah.
Two good answers.
That's
right
so
there.
cool. But seriously, can't thank you two enough. On location, 5-iron golf, for us allowing us to be here. The Ryder Cup is so special. In my opinion, it's the greatest event in sports, and y'all two have played a huge part in it over the years, and it's been an honor to sit down with both of you and hear some of y'all's stories. Thank you so much for joining us.
Not at all. Thank you.
Thanks, Colt.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you, guys.